hello students, welcome back to my channel. In this video I am going to give you a brief lecture on photosynthesis. Okay, photo means light. The meaning of photosynthesis is synthesis of food with the help of light. So it's a physiological process. So actually green plants, they capture the sunlight. So they fix the sunlight into a chemical form. Okay. So green plants, they fix the radiant energy into a chemical energy. Okay. So actually chloroplasts of green plants, they capture the sunlight and they fix it into a chemical form. So that is the meaning of photosynthesis. Let's see the actual meaning of photosynthesis. So photosynthesis is an anabolic process. It is an anabolic process. Anabolic means, so it's a constructive process. So formation of complex molecules from the simpler substances. So what happened actually in the photosynthesis? The production of complex molecules from the simple inorganic compounds. So CO2 and H2O, they are going to give rise a complex carbohydrates. So that's why photosynthesis is an anabolic process. That means it is a constructive process. So let's see the second one. It is a reductive process. Photosynthesis is a reductive process. Reductive means, so here the CO2 is going to reduce into carbohydrate. Okay, so here the CO2 is going to reduce into carbohydrate. That's why the photosynthesis is a reductive process. Okay, so third one is photosynthesis is an endergonic process. So it is an endergonic process. Endergonic means here it is going to take energy from the outside. So the energy source is solar energy. Okay, so the solar energy is going to fix into a chemical form. So that's why it is going to take the energy from the outside. That's why photosynthesis is an endergonic process. So let's see the actual equation of photosynthesis. 6 CO2, 12 H2O gives rise to C6H12O6 plus 6O2 plus 6H2O. So this is the actual reaction. Let's see simpler compounds, simpler inorganic compounds, they are going to fix into a complex carbohydrate form. So that's why it is an anabolic or constructive process. Here the CO2 is going to reduce into glucose. That's why it is a reductive process. So it is an endergonic process. Here the chlorophyll pigments, they capture the sunlight. They are going to fix that energy into chemical energy. So they are taking energy from the outside. That's why this process is called as endergonic process. Okay, so actually about 90% of the photosynthesis is carried out by marine algae, that means freshwater algae. So generally green plants, they utilizes total 1% of the radiant energy and 2 billion tons of CO2 annually. Okay, so they are utilizing only 1% of the radiant energy and 2 billion tons of CO2 annually. Let's see the photosynthetic apparatus or the site of photosynthesis. So the actual site of the photosynthesis is chloroplast. So let's see the structure of chloroplast. So that is the actual site of photosynthesis. Okay. So the chloroplast shape, maybe they may be ellipsoidal in shape or discoid in shape. They may be plate-like. They may be disc shaped or they may be flat shaped. Okay, so the size of the chloroplast may vary, that is 4 to 6 mu in length. 1 to 2 mu in diameter or thickness. Okay, so each chloroplast, if you see the structure of chloroplast, each chloroplast is surrounded by two unit membranes. Okay, so the outer membrane is permeable to all substances, whereas the inner membrane is selectively permeable to the substances. So the space in between two membranes is called as periplastidial space. The space in between two membranes is called as periplastidial space. So inside the membrane there is a matrix. There is a matrix or stroma of the chloroplast. In the matrix there are many thylakoids. They arranged one above the other like a stack like manner. So they are arranged one above the other like a stack like manner. Okay, so that stack is called as granum. So these are the thylakoids. They arranged one above the other. So each thylakoid consists of chlorophyll pigments, carotenoids, xanthophylls on their membrane. Okay, so the actual site of light reaction is thylakoid membrane, remember. Okay, so the internal part, so the thylakoids again connected by another structures, they are called stroma lamellae. Each granum is connected by stroma lamellae. Okay, in between the granum there are connection like structures. They are called stroma lamellae. So inside the matrix, the internal part of the chloroplast is nothing but matrix or stroma. So that matrix consists hydrophilic substances. So it also contains double helical structure of a single molecule of DNA and also ribosomes. That's why the chloroplasts are called as self-autonomous organelles, self-duplicate organelles. Okay, so the liquid medium of the chloroplast, it contains a hyaline granular structures. So it contains all the enzymes which are necessary for the dark reaction. So it contains the matrix or stroma contains all the enzymes which are necessary for the dark reaction. Okay. So the thylakoid is a flattened sac-like structure. So this is the thylakoid, single thylakoid. It encloses the lumen. Whatever present inside the thylakoid is called as lumen. Okay, so as I told you earlier, these thylakoids, they stack one above the other to form a stack-like structure. So this stack is called as granum. Per one chloroplast, there may be 1 to 10 granum. So the granum are interconnected by the lamellae or called as stroma lamellae. So the pigments such as chlorophylls, carotenoids, xanthophylls, they present on the membrane of the thylakoid or grana. So the site for the light reaction is granum because chlorophyll pigments, xanthophylls pigments and carotenoids, they are located on the membrane of the thylakoids. So let's see the photosynthetic pigments. So photosynthetic pigments such as chlorophylls, carotenoids, xanthophylls, they are present on the membrane of thylakoid. Okay, so let's see the photosynthetic pigments. They are chlorophylls, carotenoids and phycobilins. Among them, chlorophylls are the main photosynthetic pigments. So, there are 5 types of chlorophyll pigments. They are chlorophyll A, present in all photosynthetic organisms except photobacteria. Chlorophyll B, present in all higher plants and green algae. Chlorophyll C present in Phaeophyceae and Bacillariophyceae. Chlorophyll D is present in Rhodophyceae, whereas chlorophyll E is present in Xanthophyceae. So these are the 5 types of chlorophyll pigments: chlorophyll A, B, C, D, E. So among them, chlorophyll A and B are the important chlorophyll pigments. They mainly found in all higher plants as well as green algae. So they present in 3:1 ratio. Chlorophyll A and B, they are present in 3:1 ratio. So each chlorophyll pigment containing a special structure. So each chlorophyll pigment having a head and a tail structure. The head consisting 4-5 head, that means single magnesium atom is connected to 4 pyrrole rings. This is called 4-5 head, and there is a tail containing 20 carbons. Okay, see the differences between chlorophyll A and B. So the empirical formula of chlorophyll A is C55 H72 O5 N4 Mg is the empirical formula of chlorophyll A, whereas the chlorophyll B is C55 H70 O6 N4 Mg. Each chlorophyll pigment, as I told you earlier, each chlorophyll pigment containing 4-5 head and 5 tall tail. Okay, so there is a small difference between chlorophyll A and B. In case of a second pyrrole ring, in the second position, there is a methane group present in chlorophyll A. Whereas in case of chlorophyll B, there is aldehyde group is present in chlorophyll B. So chlorophyll A is in blue-green in color. Whereas chlorophyll B is in olive green in color. So these are the major differences between chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. Let's see the next category of pigments, carotenoids. So these are the accessory pigments. So if you see the absorption spectra, chlorophylls, they absorbs more amount of light in the red and blue regions, whereas carotenoids absorbs more light in blue and green regions of the spectra. Okay, so these are the accessory pigments. They are yellow, orange and purple pigments. They don't have 4-5 in head and 5 tall type. They are open chain structures. They are open chain structures. So they belong to terpenoid group. Okay, so carotenoids are again divided into 2 types: carotenes and xanthophylls. Let's see first carotenes. The empirical formula of carotenes is C40 H56. That means they are only having high carbon and hydrogen. They are open chain form of structures. Okay, so example lycopene, alpha carotene and beta carotene. So let's see the second one, xanthophylls. So they are also open chain structures. The empirical formula is C40 H56 O2. So these are oxygenated hydrocarbons. These are oxygenated hydrocarbons. Example is lutein and zeaxanthin. These are the third category of pigments. So there are again two types: phycoerythrin and phycocyanin. So this is the red pigment found in red algae. This is the blue-green pigment found in blue-green algae. So they are exclusively, phycobilins are the water-soluble pigments. They are exclusively found in algae. So generally carotenoids and phycobilins, they are the accessory pigments. They also trap the energy. They transfer the energy to the reaction center. Okay, so if you see the reaction center, so the reaction center containing chlorophyll A, it is surrounded by chlorophylls, xanthophylls and phycobilins. So they also trap the sunlight. They transfer this energy to the reaction center. That's why they are called as accessory pigments. So they also prevents the chlorophylls from the photobleaching. Photobleaching is nothing but destructive photooxidation. It occurs in presence of light and oxygen. So they prevent the destruction of chlorophyll pigments. So they are the accessory pigments. They also captures the light. They transfer it to the reaction center. So they also protect the chlorophyll pigments from photobleaching.